This is a rebuttal to Ethiopian world, who is not an Ethiopian, and he don't understand what took place in the past. And Dr. Malachi Z. York does understand what took place in the past. This video is called Nazi.
Drive in slavery. Hitler was not yet ready, but Mussolini was. Mussolini had to be. His people were growing restless. Fascism hadn't produced the heaven on earth that he had promised them. So he pulled the old trick of launching a foreign war to divert attention from troubles at home. So Mussolini beat his chest like Tarzan and looked around for a worthy foe. He found one. Ethiopia. Good country for the beginning of a glorious empire. Its army had no machine guns. Its army had no tanks. Its army did have an air force. Exactly one old airplane. One airplane against the nation which had developed a new theory of total air war. A blitz which would wipe out cities, destroy civilians, men, woman, and child. In October of 1935, following the Japanese example, an incident was provoked at the little settlement of Wall near the border of Ethiopia and Italian Somaliland. Italy's honor had been violated. Refusing any arbitration, Mussolini moved the whole might of his army through the Suez Canal to overrun the undefended country. Ethiopia's emperor, Haile Salassie, appeared before the League of Nations. I must still fight on until my tardy allies appear, and if they never come, I say to you without bitterness, the West will perish. Members of the League half-heartedly stopped trading with Italy, but refused the only thing that would stop any aggressor: force. Ethiopia was left to herself. Native leaders came to pledge their allegiance. The people of Ethiopia, with their spears and bare hands, faced the guns and the tanks of the invaders, fighting desperately and gallantly to save their country from conquest. And they died. But in the end, there could be but one result: might triumphed. Italy conquered Ethiopia. Many of our elected leaders warned us of danger.
Without a declaration of war, and without warning or justification of any kind, civilians, including vast numbers of women and children, are being ruthlessly murdered with bombs from the air.
But we were still hypnotized by the fact that two broad oceans stood between us and the rest of the world. We didn't realize that the time when months were needed to span these oceans was ended. That the steamship had helped these months to days, and that now whole Earth's surface could be covered in the space of hours. Yes, we were a nation that wanted peace. But we hadn't yet learned that peace for us depends on peace for all. Nobody would run the risk of war because of some mud huts and barren plains in Ethiopia, any more than we would run the risk for some similar huts and plains in Manchuria. Correctly interpreting our attitude, the aggressors were all assured that they would get what they wanted. Japan had started on her march of conquest. Italy had begun her new empire. And now the third gangster. What about him? We'll pick him up on our next film and show how he joins partners in putting his bid. For this is what we are fighting. Freedom's oldest enemy. The passion of the few to rule the many. This isn't just a war. This is a common man's life and death struggle against those who would put him back into slavery.